Akshata's Recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to be showing you an Upma recipe, a very simple Upma recipe. And I'm going to be using the very fine semolina or rava or suji. The reason is that it cooks faster and it becomes into this very light and fluffy Upma. And I've always been using fine rava. As it cooks faster, it's easier, and I just like it that way. Also, the recipe is very simple, very few ingredients that you have in your kitchen most of the time. So let's get started with today's Upma recipe. So friends, let's start with today's simple Upma recipe. Let me go through the ingredients with you. Now here I've taken 1 vati of very fine semolina, suji or rava. All ingredients in grams will be given in the description box below. Now this is 1 medium-sized onion chopped fine, 1 inch of ginger peeled and grated, 2 small light green chilies chopped fine, a few curry leaves, about a tablespoon of coriander chopped fine. This is about a teaspoon of urad dal and the juice of half a lemon. Now I'm also going to be using some cashew nuts, some salt to taste, and half a teaspoon of sugar. This is 2 vatis of water. Besides that, we are also going to be using about half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and half a teaspoon of hing or asafoetida. So these are all our ingredients. So let's get started. Now I've kept the 2 cups of water for boiling, and I'm going to be dry roasting the suji or the semolina or the rava. We're going to roast this on a low to medium flame, stirring continuously till you start getting the aroma of the suji or the fine semolina or the rava. So this should take you about a minute or so, but do roast it very well. That way your rava, your upma will become nice and fluffy. Now wipe your vessel or the pan if you're using the same one again, because then little specks of rava tend to be there, and they do it's better to have a clean pan. So now I've put just about half a tablespoon of oil, and I'm just going to fry these cashew nuts till they are a light golden brown in color. Now you can also use clarified butter or ghee for this recipe instead of oil. Now once I'm going to add my mustard seeds, my cumin and my asafoetida to the oil. I've added another half a tablespoon of oil. So altogether 1 tablespoon of oil. Now I've added the curry leaves, I've added the ginger and the green chilies, and we're going to fry everything nicely. The urad dal too. And we're going to fry all of this nicely. Now this urad dal gives a lovely flavor, as well as it gives a nice little bit of a crunch to the upma. Now we're going to add the onions, and we're going to saute everything very, very well. Next goes in our roasted semolina or rava. Now remember, our 2 cups of water are boiling. That's very important. So just keep it on a very low flame till the water starts to boil. Now we're going to fry all of this well together, so that and we're going to add some salt and that teaspoon of sugar. And we're going to mix everything well so all of the bagar or the phodni gets well integrated with the rava. Now, this is a very easy recipe and a very quick recipe too. It gets ready very quickly. And now we're just going to pour those 2 cups of boiling water all over the upma, all over the rava. And we're going to just cover it immediately. Don't stir it. Immediately cover it and cook it for about half a minute. After half a minute, just mix all the ingredients like this. You can also see that the rava or the upma the suji has already fluffed up. Now we're just going to add a few drops of clarified butter or ghee, and again we're going to cover this vessel and keep it aside for keep it on a low flame for another minute or so. And now you can get the beautiful flavor of the upma. We're going to turn off the flame and now add your lemon juice. And mix everything well so the lemon juice also coats all of the upma very well. And then we're just going to add a little bit of the coriander and the cashew nuts. And the rest of the coriander and the cashew nuts, you can garnish it as you serve the upma. And that's it, friends. Such a quick recipe, such an easy recipe and an instant recipe. So give it a try. So friends, let's get started with today's instant rava dosa and coconut chutney recipe. Now here I've taken exactly 1 cup of very fine rava or semolina, 1 cup of rice flour. If you don't have rice flour, you can use maida, and half a cup of yogurt or dahi. And I'm also going to be using some salt to taste. Now I have a recipe of how to make your own dahi or curd at home. I will leave a link below. Now I'm going to add this semolina or this rava to my bowl, mixing bowl in which we're going to make our batter. Next I'm going to add my rice flour. Then we will add in the dahi or the curd. Next, we are going to add some salt to taste. And then we're going to mix all of this well. Now we're going to add a little water at a time. And we're going to whisk this till we get a very smooth and runny batter. We don't want a very thick batter like a dosa batter. We want a very runny batter. So your batter should have this kind of runny, liquidy consistency. Now we're going to cover and set this aside for at least an hour. Now we're going to heat our iron pan. And now when we're ready to make the dosa, see the batter, it is nice and runny like this. We're going to add in some light green chilies, some grated ginger and some chopped up curry leaves. Now I leave all the ingredients along with their exact measurements in the description box below. Now ensure that your iron tawa or your dosa tawa that you use regularly is nice and hot. Now we're just going to brush a little oil on the tawa. And we're going to stir the batter once and we're going to pour it in this manner, starting from the edges and then moving towards the center. And you have to get this kind of porous kind of a dosa. Now let the dosa cook really nice and well on a low to medium flame till the edges start to brown. So this should take you at least half a minute or sometimes even up to a minute. But this takes some time for the dosa to really crisp up. Now if you don't want a very crispy dosa, then the minute the edges turn brown, you can flip it off. But if you want a real nice crispy rava dosa, then just wait for it to become nice and brown. And all the edges have to nicely brown up. Now you can see that all the edges have turned nice and brown. And now I can just loosen up the dosa and then flip it. Now we want to cook this on the lower side too for at least, a little, at least half a minute or even less than half a minute, for a few seconds till it browns nicely on the lower side too. And then we're going to flip it and then just turn it in this fashion and serve it in your plate. So this is how you're going to, just continue till you're done with the batter, or, how many ever dosas you want to make. And our dosa is ready. And now I'm just going to show you a quick chutney recipe which you can make to accompany this dosa. It's very simple, friends. So here all I have used is some green chili, some lime, some chopped up garlic and some ginger, grated ginger. I'll leave all the instructions in the description box below. Some fresh grated coconut, some coriander, some salt and sugar. So I just added all of that to my mixer, and I'm just going to squeeze in the juice of half a lemon. And I'm just going to grind this, adding very little water, maybe just about a tablespoon or two, till I get this type of a coarsely ground chutney. And that's it, friends. Your instant rava dosa and coconut chutney is all ready. So you can make this for your breakfast and enjoy it. Recipe. Now here I've taken about 3/4 cup of very fine semolina, suji or rava. This is 1 cup of dahi and some salt to taste and a little bit of water. Now first I'm going to add the rava or the semolina to my mixing bowl. I'm going to add some salt to taste. I'm going to mix both of these ingredients well together. Now I have a recipe of how to make your own dahi or curd at home. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And now we're going to mix everything well together, whisk it well so that we don't have any lumps in the batter. And then we're going to add a little water at a time. Now we want a very thick paste like you would with a normal idli paste. So just add about 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons of water. Add a little at a time. Now we want a very thick paste. This is the consistency. It should be thick, not a pouring consistency like the dosa consistency. And now we're going to cover this and keep this aside for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Now these are our other ingredients. This is 1 light green chili chopped fine. This is about a tablespoon of chopped coriander, 1 small onion chopped fine, a few curry leaves, a few cashew nuts, and this is 1 inch of ginger grated fine. This is about half a teaspoon of udid dal, 1/4 teaspoon of mohri or mustard seeds, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin or jeera seeds, 1/4 teaspoon of hing or asafoetida, and this is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So our mixture is resting, and of course we need some ghee too. And I've also got my idli stand all ready. So we're just going to coat these idli plates with a little bit of ghee later on. Now in a pan, I've added about a tablespoon of clarified butter or ghee. My flame is on low to medium. And now once the ghee is nice and hot, I'm going to add my mustard seeds and wait for them to splutter. Then goes in my cumin or jeera seeds. Next goes in my udid dal. Then go in the curry leaves, the green chilies. We're going to fry all of this well. Then goes in my grated ginger. Next go in the cashew nuts. The hinga or asafoetida. And now we're going to add all this that we fried together into our thick batter that we prepared earlier. We're going to mix all of this well. Now we're going to add the chopped onion. Mix it in well too. The chopped coriander. Now at this time, you can keep your idli pot ready. And now last is the baking soda. So just fill some water in your idli stand and let it start to boil on a low to medium flame. Mix all of these ingredients well in your mixing bowl. And now I'm just going to brush a little bit of clarified butter or ghee onto the idli plates. You can also use oil. I like the flavor of the ghee on the idlis, so I always put ghee. And now we're just going to take a ladle full of it and fill up the idli stand. Now don't overfill them. Just fill them with 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of the batter. Now, this is a lovely breakfast idea or a anytime snack idea, and it's really delicious too, and gets ready also very quickly. So now my water is boiling. I'm just going to place the idlis into my stand, and I put a timer of exactly 12 minutes. So I am going to let the steamer cook on a high for 12 minutes, and after 12 minutes, when I open up my steamer, this is how the idlis look. Now you can see that the color of the idlis has changed. That's because of the reaction of the baking soda with some of the other ingredients. So now you can just demold them. They come off very easily. And you can see that they're so light and really delicious. Now I've served them with my tomato chutney. I have put this chutney up in another recipe, so I'll leave a link below. You can just click on it to see how I prepared this tomato chutney. Today's delicious Goan Sheero recipe. Now let's go through the ingredients. Now here I have 1 cup of rava or semolina. Now you can use the fine rava or the medium rava. Next I have 1 cup of sugar. This is regular sugar. 1 cup of water. 1 cup of milk. Now this is half a cup of mixed nuts, that is raisins and cashew nuts, so 1/4 cup each, and half a cup of clarified butter and or ghee, and a few drops of yellow or orange food color. So now in a pot, I've turned the flame on, and I'm just going to add the water, the milk, and the sugar, and I'm just going to stir the 3 ingredients well together on a low to medium heat. And now I'm going to add a few drops of yellow food color. You can even use orange color, depending on what you like the color of your sheera to be. So I'm just using this yellow gel food color. And just stir everything till the sugar melts and let it come to a gentle boil on a low flame. Now in another pan, I'm going to add the ghee or the clarified butter. It's better that you add a melted butter. Then you're going to add the dry fruits and fry them till the cashew nuts turn nice and brown, golden brown, and the raisins swell up a bit. And then I'm just going to take out little bit of it for garnish. So about 1.5 teaspoons, I'm just going to keep it aside for garnish. And now I'm going to add the rava or the semolina to this ghee. And we're going to fry this for a whole 1.5 minutes, because we want the semolina to get, the ghee nicely incorporated in it. So you can put a timer on your phone, and for 1.5 minutes, just fry this on a very low flame, stirring continuously. And you'll get this beautiful aroma of the rava. So don't skip this step. This is really important for that light and lovely sheera. And now I'm going to add our water, milk, sugar, and food color mixture. See that it comes to a nice boil before you add it. And now you're just going to mix everything nicely together. And now I'm just going to cover and cook this for half a minute, stirring in between just once. And you will see that everything has come together really well. So just mix everything really nicely together. And then after this, what I like to do is I just put the flame off, and I like to just cover and keep this aside for about 2 minutes without the flame on, without any heat on, but just cover and set it aside for 2 minutes so everything really comes together really well. So this doesn't take much time to get ready, but just cover and set it aside for 2 minutes so that everything really comes together well and you get this light and lovely soft and fluffy sheera. And now we are all ready to serve this. So here I've just taken a glass bowl and I'm just going to grease it with a little bit of clarified butter or ghee. And then I'm going to take a spoonful of the sheera. And just press it down like this. Just even it out. And then you're just going to take another plate and just keep it on top of it and upturn it like this. Just tap it a bit. And you'll see that it nicely slides off because we greased it with some ghee. And now I'm just going to put the lovely fried raisins and cashew nuts on top as a garnish. And just for it to look even more pretty, I'm just going to add a few mint leaves. This is completely optional, but it just makes it look so pretty. And that's it, guys. Your lovely Goan Sheero is all ready to enjoy with a hot cup of tea or coffee. So I hope you liked today's recipe. Do give it a try and do leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a like. So friends, let's see today's lovely Sanja recipe. So these are the few ingredients that we require. First, I have 1 cup of fine semolina or rava. This is 3 cups of water. Then I'm going to be using half a teaspoon each of mustard seeds, asafoetida, cumin and turmeric powder. Next, I have 1 medium onion that I've chopped fine. This is about 1/4 cup of cashew nuts, 1/4 cup of fresh coriander leaves, 7 to 8 curry leaves, 1 light green chili, 1/4 cup of green peas, the juice of half a lemon, clarified butter, salt and sugar to taste. And I'm also going to be using 1 teaspoon of urad dal or udid dal. So now I'm going to be heating a pan. Now once my pan is nice and hot, I'm going to add the semolina or the rava. And I'm going to roast this really well. Now if you're going to be using a cup measure, then you'll have to take 1:3, that is 1 cup of rava to 3 cups of water. Or if you're using a steel vati like this, then also it goes the same, 1:3. So I'm going to be heating the water and let it come to a very gentle boil on a low flame. Now we got to roast the rava or the semolina really well. So I did this for about 3 minutes on a very low flame, and you'll get the aroma of the rava. Now once the semolina or the rava is nicely roasted, you're going to transfer it to a bowl and you're going to clean your pan if you're using the same pan. Clean it very well so that with a clean cloth. And then again you put it on the heat and you're going to add 4 teaspoons of ghee or clarified butter. Now let the ghee get nice and hot on a low to medium flame. Once it heats up, we're going to add half a teaspoon of our mustard seeds or mori or rye. Let the mustard seeds begin to splutter. Once that happens, you're going to add half a teaspoon of jeera or cumin seeds. Next, I'm going to add the curry leaves. Now you can add the curry leaves whole or you can even chop them up. Try to use fresh curry leaves. Then I'm going to add the green chili that I've just chopped fine. We're going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi, because we're going to give this, it's going to give it a beautiful yellow color. Now we're going to add the udid dal, and now we're going to saute everything nicely. Fry the chilies really well so that it flavors the ghee. Now we're going to add our onion. So I've taken 1 medium-sized onion and chopped it fine. We're going to fry the onion till it gets nice and translucent. Now if your water has come to a boil, you can turn the heat off under the water that is boiling. But fry your onions really nicely. Then we're going to add the green peas. Now this is completely optional. If you have green peas, you can add it, Otherwise, it's okay if you skip it. Now we're going to add the cashew nuts. Now you can split the cashew nuts into 2 halves. Now we're going to add the roasted rava or the semolina that we had kept aside in the bowl. And now we're going to mix everything really well together. See that there's no white part of the semolina, left. It should be nice and yellow. Now we're going to flavor it with some salt to taste. And I'm also going to be adding a pinch of sugar. Again, mix the salt and the sugar in well. We need to roast everything, fry everything nicely so everything gets nicely mixed up together. So if you do it this way and follow the, the steps, then you'll get this lovely light and fluffy and really delicious sanja. And now I'm going to add the hot water. Be extremely careful because it tends to splutter. So stand a little bit away from the pan and just pour this hot boiling water onto the semolina. Don't mix it. Immediately cover and cook this on a low to medium flame till the water evaporates. Keep an eye on it. Now you can see that all the water has gone away. So now we're going to just loosen this mixture very lightly. Keep the flame very low and just mix everything very gently. So you can see that it's almost cooked, but we need to keep it a little while longer. So loosen it up. And now again I'm going to cover this and just cook it for about a minute on a very low flame. And now you can see that it's nice and light and fluffy. And you get a beautiful aroma of, all the ingredients come together. And now I'm just going to add some finely chopped coriander. Now what I do with my coriander or kothimber is I soak it in water with some salt, add it to it for about 10 minutes and then rinse it really well, dry it and then chop it up. So then add that too and mix it in really well. I also have a video on how I store my coriander. I'll leave a link below, how I clean it and how I store it. Now we're going to turn the flame off and we're going to add the juice of half a lemon. Now a small tip over here, don't throw away these lemon seeds or lemon pips. What I do is I have a small pot in my kitchen window and I just keep, popping these seeds as and when I use lemon into the pot. That way I have a small little lemon tree growing in my pot. So don't throw away these seeds. You can just put them in any, pot that you have in your windowsill. That way you'll get a lovely lemon tree and, you can really use this. So just a small tip. So now once you add the lemon juice, remember our heat is off. Just mix in the lemon juice nicely so that it coats the entire, all of the semolina and the rava. And that's it, guys. Our sanja or sansa is all ready. And enjoy this with a lovely piping hot cup of tea or coffee. Do try out this recipe and do leave your comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear from all of you. Take care, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.